Hey everyone, it's Elisa Kazarowski, and I am back to share strategy number 2 with you for our 6 strategies for building stronger connections with students. All right, so strategy number 2 is all about being human, right? Simple enough. So in this strategy, we're thinking through the behaviors, the social skills, the things that we want to make sure we're modeling for kids. So if you go back and think back to that first video where we talked about modeling words, actions for our students and how they're always observing those things. But in this strategy, we really need to think about what are those things that we want to model. And teachers, we're really good at this, right? We're constantly modeling for kids. Certain kids, though, may need us to be a little bit more intentional in terms of thinking about the skills that we need to sort of beef up with them. Sometimes we have whole classes that, we need to focus a lot on friendship skills and how we talk to peers. So just identifying where those gaps are and then be intentional in your modeling. This strategy is also all about normalizing feelings, talking about them. We have feelings, we all do. They're meant to be felt. And sometimes those feelings they're not so positive, right? And we need to make it normal for our kids to feel those things and talk to people about them. Um, we can do this in a lot of different ways, even just saying, hey guys, I'm just feeling really tired today, or I'm feeling a little bit down today. Does anybody ever get just kind of in a funk and you don't really know why? That's kind of how I'm feeling today. So if I seem a little bit off, that's probably why. So we're just having that constant, what is sometimes an inner dialogue, but we need to do it out loud, right? Verbalizing how we're feeling, why we're taking a particular action. I am feeling really disappointed right now because after we spent so much time studying for this test last week, it seems like we didn't really bring our A game. Or I'm feeling frustrated because it doesn't seem that a lot of people are listening right now. I gave this direction and only 3 people are following it. That frustrates me because I know you guys are capable of more. Or I'm doing this thing right now. I'm going to just take a step back and take a second to like take a deep breath and count to 5 in my head because I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed by everything that's going on right now. And I know that I just need to calm myself for 10 seconds. Okay, it's just that constant verbalization of all of the things that we do that kids don't necessarily think about. And a lot of it is tied to emotional regulation, right? Whereas we are able to be a little bit more proactive and reflective, kids are very impulsive and reactive. So the more that we can talk about those things out loud, so kids are seeing what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, is going to help them. Showing empathy, modeling calm down strategies, which I kind of just gave an example of, even incorporating those calm down strategies as a mindfulness practice in your room. Hey, we just came back in from recess and everybody is a little bit crazy right now. Why don't we practice this strategy? It's something that sometimes I use because it just helps to calm me and get some of that big energy out when we're really worked up. Let me show you how it works, and then we'll all practice it together. That's the time that we need to be showing kids calm down strategies, not when they're escalated, right? That's not the time to teach those. Letting kids know who the real you is. All right. So I remember during the pandemic, for my kids, their school, their teachers were able to teach from home or from their classroom virtually, depending on, what their setup was and where they felt comfortable. And I remember my daughter, she was in first grade at the time, and her teacher was teaching from home, and they sometimes got glimpses of her teacher's husband or her son or their dog. And my daughter would be so excited about that. Or they got to take a tour of her house. Anything that lets kids know that you are a real human, right? Not just a teacher who sleeps at school and eats in the lunchroom for 3 meals a day is really intriguing to them. All kids. And that's kind of human nature in general, right? We like to know things about people and we can be nosy sometimes. So share things within, your boundaries and what you're comfortable with. Let them know who you really are. Use the power of storytelling. I mentioned this in the introductory video that we learn best through storytelling. We remember those things. So there was a year as when I was a third grade teacher that was the year that we got our dog, and I probably talked about him a lot because it was prior to having kids. And so he was like our child. And so I talked about my dog, Hoosier, in class all the time. We did math problems about Hoosier. We did writing prompts about Hoosier. We wrote stories about Hoosier. The kids loved all of my little stories and anecdotes about Hoosier, and I tied them into everything that we were learning. And then my kids actually worked toward Hoosier coming for a visit in our classroom. And he did. I don't remember exactly what they had to do, but he came and he visited us for 30 minutes one day after they had earned it. And they loved that. They loved seeing that side of us. All right. So be human is our second strategy. And I will be back in the next video to discuss strategy number 3.